Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
It's a blessing to be in the position, and we're just thankful to be here. We're thankful to have the opportunity to go out there and play in front of the 12 man.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies. Well, they went all in, OB. They didn't get their primary candidate for the job. Texas A&M basketball strikes out on Chris Beard. Looked like he was maybe going to take it. And then Ole Miss does what a program should do if they want to keep a guy. Go all in.
That just goes to show to me how A&M was right to pursue Chris Beard.
Yep.
Of course, you see I've shaved.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed, I can't lie, but I'm proud of A&M and Trev Alberts for making the move to doing what was necessary to almost lure him in to back to Texas. I think it would have been a great coup. Now I keep telling myself, you know, the first choice isn't necessarily the right choice. We find out later, and hopefully that'll be the case. Hey.
And the big name isn't always the right choice, too.
Boy, don't we know that.
Yeah.
So now I've always said what you do is you get your list of guys. You make a list of who you want and rank them. And when you don't get number one, you go for number two. I think when things changed for A&M football way back in the early 80s, the way I heard the story was they had a list, and the list was like Bo Schembechler for football, Bobby Bowden, Jackie Sherrill. And, you know.
They got Jackie.
And did anybody mind?
No.
I mean, everybody was happy with what they got. So
but I
hopefully
think,
it'll work out similarly.
I think the difference here is that the last year, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The last year, just with everything happening, the aesthetics around the program striking out and missing 2 times now, because they tried to go all in on Tony Vitello.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Which we knew that was the longest of long shots.
Right.
I never thought, he's not going to leave Tennessee. They just won a championship, right? And then you go all in on Chris Beard, and you miss out. But then you reminded me, if we look at A&M's history, they have gotten who they want on, I don't know if most occasions, many occasions over the years.
Buzz Williams was the guy they wanted.
They got him.
And they got him. They wanted Jimbo Fisher. They got him. You know?
They wanted Kevin Sumlin.
I don't know who they wanted when they got Elko. I mean, I guess they wanted DeBoer, but he was going to Alabama right all the time.
Yeah.
But when they got Sumlin when they wanted him, I remember Dennis Francione. I remember covering that, and there were regents outside of that building they're in, high-fiving on the sidewalk out there because they got their guy. But you know what? And here's the thing where I'm going with my original point. You know who else wanted that or would have been interested in that A&M job when they hired Dennis Francione?
Who's that?
Urban Meyer.
That could have worked out
now,
differently.
Now, what if you had not gotten your first choice, but you were able to get the second choice?
Yeah.
So the point, look.
You're disappointed.
I'm not trying to put a spin on it or anything. I'm just, I wanted him Chris Beard. I made that clear. It didn't work out. I'm not one of these that says, okay, I didn't get my guy, so it's a lost cause. No, I personally would be fine with Brad Underwood.
Yeah.
I personally, after talking to the genius, Matthew Dawson, he sold me on the guy at Iowa State.
Yeah. TJ Otzelberger.
Otzelberger.
Yeah.
McCaslin.
That doesn't feel like they're going to go in that direction.
But I would be fine with them.
Regardless of who they get, we won't know if it was the right hire for a couple years.
Right. Even if they've gotten Beard.
Right. But like right now, to feel better, that shot of espresso that you want, right? Like now it's like, well, you better go all in on NIL.
Well, they need to do that anyway.
You do need to do that anyway, but you better go all in on NIL, because you bring in a guy from a mid-major, or maybe you bring in a guy who's done it at the Power Four. How long is it going to take to get this program back where it needs to be? And it could take just an offseason if you go all in on NIL. But I feel like with every passing day, the chances of adding to that is going to become more difficult.
Well, I think right now what you should look at is what coach can bring players with them, or what coach has a reputation of being a dynamic recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And that dynamic recruiter may not be a head coach. And quite frankly, I worry about that because I know if the reaction, say they got Bill Murray's kid, who's got a reputation as being a great recruiter. Yeah, it'd be cool having Bill Murray here, right?
Yeah.
At games. But there would be this faction like, oh, see, we failed and all that.
But do you think kids know who Bill Murray is?
I don't know.
Torniak?
I don't. Hoping you weren't going to ask me.
Cade Bickham?
I think it'd be cool to have Bill Murray here.
Yeah. Ghostbusters? Caddyshack?
I've seen Caddyshack.
He's the funny guy in Caddyshack.
Oh.
Did you ever see him in St. Vincent? Great movie. Great job.
Scrooged? Groundhog Day?
Groundhog Day.
I'll keep going. I actually ran out of places.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah. But wait, there's more for $7.99. Anyway, look, no matter who they get, I think only Chris. Let me rephrase this. Chris Beard would have moved the needle today.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, wait and see. I mean, you're not going to get Grant McCaslin. That can move the needle.
I think Brad Underwood would move the needle. Man, he got. You know what? He took SFA as far in the NCAA. Stephen F. Austin as far in the NCAA tournament as Buzz Williams took A&M.
Yeah.
Maybe twice. I think twice.
I feel like it's back-to-back years.
And one year they had Notre Dame beaten. The Lumberjacks had Notre Dame beaten, and Walkup, the kid whose brother played here, needlessly tried to push the ball downfield and had a turnover and enabled Notre Dame to come back. But I mean, that was a dynamic program. So anyway, if they were able to pull him out of Illinois, I think that'd be a great hire. But not to be disingenuous, again, Beard was my choice.
I think.
But you know what?
Tell me what.
Here's how you've met Miss Irma.
Of course.
I mean, did I?
You outkicked your coach
Out like crazy, right?
Yeah.
There were other options before.
She had better candidates.
There were, heck yeah, but I had other possibilities before.
Okay.
The point is that sometimes not getting your first option turns out to be a great thing.
Yes, but no. Okay, to me, I can't think that way on day two, the day after. The day after, I'm like, gosh, if this is who they wanted, they didn't get him. Now what? Because there isn't like this. That's the guy. You know, like sometimes, like I think whoever they end up getting, and I'm sure once I do research, I'll be like, oh, I see why it's going to work out or why it won't. I think it'll be why it works out, right? But I think whenever the A&M football search happened, there was this like, all right, Elko, let's go, right? Yeah. Is there an Elko let's go? Maybe. I don't know. Billy mentioned on the boards yesterday, I think, there's a couple candidates that he has really heard them talk about. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that shakes out. And by the way, when people find out what Chris Beard was offered by A&M, maybe they're like, you know what? Let me give Brian College Station a call.
That's why you're talking about the coaches, I guess. But that's why I applaud Alberts and A&M, because they showed that they are willing to be absolutely serious about basketball as they are football. They damn near offered Beard what they offered Jimbo Fisher to get here.
Coach Elko?
Elko, they learned from Fisher. Elko has a contract, if I recall it correctly, that's exceptional. And it's more than competitive, It's among the best in the country. But if he's going to be paid like a national championship coach, he's got to win it at A&M. They're not paying you to win a national championship anymore somewhere else.
Right. No. Look, I'm not Debbie Downer about it. And by the way,
You're David Downer.
I am David Downer. Yeah. Now, I understand some of the questions that were out there about Chris Beard on the negative side. I understand that. And I said from the very beginning, I would like to read more about it. Because I headline and I skimmed through it whenever it all happened. I'd like to know more about it, who's going to be the top guy at A&M. That's me personally. The next guy, it'll be the same kind of research, right? Like, not a police report, but it'll be the same kind of research. Like, all right, I'm intrigued. Let me know more. But again, I think part of the reason they're like, is the waiting, because we're going to have to wait to see, right?
Yeah,
and also,
Petty said the waiting's the hardest part.
The waiting is the hardest part. And also, there's just the way the last year's played out. Overall, big three.
Yeah. The last year hasn't been bad except for baseball. Football was disappointing, but at one point we were riding high.
Okay. I want to close. Always be closing. I want to close seasons.
Okay.
I want to close coaching candidates. Close. That's, great, preseason, we're good.
Well,
I want to close.
If you're going to be so hung up on close, maybe you need to do something besides wear a T-shirt then.
I could do that.
Close.
There are certain days that we got it.
I remember once in White House, Texas, I drove by I don't want to call it a laundry, but
laundromat?
No.
Dry cleaners?
Dry cleaners, thank you. You can tell how often I go. Yeah. And they had a big sign out front, and it said, "Come get your clothes clean," but they spell it COLSE.
That's White House.
That's East Texas. I said White House.
Oh, White House. Sorry. By the way, if you didn't know, you're not listening to The View. This is TexAgs Live.
Well, they knew that.
We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, and this particular hour has a name. OB, what's it called?
I thought it was a joke that I never should have said. This is TexAgs Live, and this is the Go Hour.
Yeah, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. We're currently in a section of our awesome studio here in the Rollo Insurance Studio that we call the Holistic Planning Cool Zone, OB.
Yeah.
Let the people know about Cool Zone.
I'll tell you why it's so cool, all right? I like money. You like money. We all like money.
So you can buy clothes.
Yeah, and get them clean. But one of the things what's great, what's cool about the Holistic Planning Cool Zones, they can help you get that money and keep that money and save up that money. I'm talking about investments, and they'll help you invest in pro sports even if you're so inclined, but they'll also help you with your taxes. What's today, the 3rd?
Today's the 3rd.
So we only got 12 more days for tax day. You got to get on the stick here, and they're going to help you with your estate plan.
Right.
So, when you're old like me and you start thinking about retirement, I was talking about that just
today.
Retirement issues just a few minutes ago. They're going to help you with that. So investments, taxes, estate planning, all with Holistic Planning.
And by the way, if you want to invest in pro sports, investinprosports.com. We go around the room to say hi to the people, but before we do that, if you want to call the show, call us up, 979-693-1150. We'll pick it up on the Buppies Catering Hotline. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah, a little. I wouldn't say I was disappointed when all the Beard news came out. It's coaching searches are weird. You go after the big guys. That's all you can do, right? And Ole Miss did what they were supposed to do, and upped him, and he decided to stay. So it's on to the next, and I have confidence in Trev that he's gonna nail it.
I hope.
I've actually been impressed with Trev Alberts. I thought going after Vitello was the right thing to do. When you didn't get him, I'll still say it hadn't worked out the way it was supposed to, but I think he made the right choice, because the choice he made with Michael Earley is how was I going to keep that team, or the nucleus of that team that just came a runaway from the national championship, together.
Yep.
So, and then again to go after to go after Beard. I applaud that.
Yep. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I was going to say the Corniac. No, the Torniac. Caitlin Torn.
Good morning. How are y'all?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Well, we've already got some chatter all on the YouTube. Brad Duncan says, I was fully convinced we were entering the golden age of Aggie athletics. Seems like it's more the dark age.
Oh, see, that's way overreaction.
Well, actually, OB.
The dark ages?
Well, no, I don't know about the dark ages. Just it's Seattle weather ages. Look, when I took the job at TexAgs, I legit said at the PKO, preseason kickoff, we're entering the golden era of Aggie athletics because we were just coming off the Orange Bowl. I figured Buzz would get it right, and I thought Schloss would get it right. Mm-hmm. What has happened since?
Well, the 2 coaches have left, and another one's been fired.
Yeah. And teams, and I will tell you, I think Buzz built a really nice program at A&M. I expected more, but I thought he built a really nice program at A&M.
It's nice.
Yeah.
If you want to be a nice program, then he's your guy.
Yeah. It's a nice sedan. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. You want to drive that minivan, it'll get you where you want to go.
Like the super nice ones that got like TVs all over the place? Those are cool.
But is it going to get you where you want to go? I need an off-road
minivan?
I need an off-road vehicle that's going to get me to the top of the mountain.
Bro, minivans take you anywhere.
They're not going to take you to the top of the mountain.
Anything else, Caitlin?
Our good TU friend Sandman says, at TexAgs, what letter grade would you give Trev Alberts thus far in year 1?
B+. B+.
I'll give him a B. I mean, he did sign the biggest deal in college athletics, right?
Yeah, he's getting things done as far as making A&M fiscally responsible. And again, he went. I thought getting Vitello would have been a coup that no one's really believed was going to happen. So I thought he made the right choice. It didn't work out, but I still think it was the right choice.
So really, like the stuff that we would discuss on this show, what has he done? He hired Michael Earley. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let me ask you something before you go any further. Had he not hired Michael Earley, okay? Now, this people easy to say, but try to put yourself back to last June. Had he not hired Michael Earley, and because of that, Jace Lavalette transferred, and Gavin Grahovic transferred, and Caden Kent transferred, and Ryan Prager decided to sign.
Yep.
If you lost all those players, how do you think people would have reacted to Trev at that point?
Not good.
Okay.
Not good. Not good. I mean, I think it would have depended how the season started. There's a lot that goes, but as today, I think we'd be playing the what if game. What if those guys stayed?
Right. If the results would have been the same as they are now.
The hire, I still think, made too much sense. It was great. It kept your nucleus. The results haven't been there yet. I'm going to let this weekend and the rest of the season play out. But if we were going to grade what Trev has done, we'd grade it on that hire, which I think is an incomplete. Is it incomplete right now? Okay, on the early hire.
The season's over. Yeah.
On the Play Fly Sports, that's an A+.
A+.
Okay, and we don't know right now how basketball is going to play.
But what we do know is that Trev Alberts is willing to go and make the commitment it's going to take to bring a top flight program to A&M. And that's good enough for me at this point.
I know one flaw in his strategy. One flaw.
One flaw. What is that?
Instead of Zooming or on the phone, whatever they did. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
Instead of it just been like, look, come to 1775. Let's have a meeting.
That probably would have closed the deal.
That would have been the closer.
Trev, but you know what? Learn from your mistakes. Next time you get it, the next coach, don't say, hey, come to
College Station?
Come to College Station.
I like it here.
We'll take you out toward Snook.
Yeah, I like that place too.
Apparently, a lot of deals get done towards Snook. And just come out here. We'll sit down. We'll break some bread. We'll eat some phenomenal Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
We'll have that succulent that succulent, soft brisket that I'm going to partake of today at lunch.
I know.
We're going to have some of that jalapeno cheese sausage. Oh, those pork ribs.
Oh.
And I think the queso mac and cheese would be like the,
Sign right here. I'll use cheese.
And then you
throw it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he should have
So
done.
that's what.
That's
Okay, live and
Next
learn.
candidate, that's how you do it.
Bring Underwood down here or somebody else.
Whoever.
People in West Texas will tell you Underwood's synonymous with barbecue, but it's not as good as what you get at 1775 right here in town.
They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out, and online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. The website is 1775txbbq.com, or you can call them up, 979-492-6241. It's 1775. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Got some text messages coming in.
Let's hear 'em.
Let's go to the Torniak, the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I know somebody asked, a 979 had a question for us.
Yes, he said, why are you guys all in on Trev Alberts?
Well, I just thought I made it pretty clear. I think he's done things to make the athletic department more fiscally responsible. He, like you pointed out, orchestrated that big deal with what's it called? Play fly flow sports. I was about to say play fly flow, but play fly sports. And then, like I said, I think it didn't work out. I like a guy that'll take a chance here and there. Sometimes chances work out, sometimes they don't. But I thought he made the right decision at the time because of the circumstances. You got to keep the circumstance on early. And look, he showed, even if they didn't get the guy they wanted, he showed that he was willing to make the commitment, do what it takes to make A&M a big-time player in college basketball.
See, I don't know. First of all, I didn't say I was all in. What I think with most of these hires, it's a TBD. Okay? He's had 3 major things that we would talk about on a talk show. Okay? 3 major things. The early hire, which we have justified in hindsight why, like, even sitting here today, it was the hire to make to keep this nucleus together. Okay? That was the first one. Play Fly second. Play Fly, he has earned a lot of love with that. And third is going to be this one. What else can we grade him on based on that? Now, I'll give you another one. He had to make some cuts. That's what they brought him in to do. They had to get the budget in a certain point for what's about to happen. So I don't like to go all in on a hot sports take and be Stephen A. Smith without all the information. Right now, I'm intrigued by what he's done. I want to see how this basketball hire comes out. I think baseball is a understandable hire, and that's where we are. So, like, to have a definitive take today based on the year that he's had, I think this hire is going to be very important to how I view Trev Alberts.
Could A&M, and this is a question we don't know, and maybe the answer would have been yes anyway because of so many generous Aggies, but could A&M have been in a position to say, yes, we're going to go all in and offer maybe $7 million to a basketball coach had they not done the deal with Play Fly?
I don't know the answer to that.
But that certainly gives you more leverage.
Sure.
Or more wiggle.
What it says to me is that this university, if they feel that that's the guy, I don't know why I said it like that. But
I
that's
like the way you said it.
They're going all in.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And from that perspective, the donors, the president, the athletic, everybody, thank you for going all in when it makes sense. If you're not now that does not mean the next guy that they hire doesn't mean that they don't believe he can be the guy to take A&M to those heights. But I feel like Chris Beard's done it, and he's youngish, right?
Yeah. So I'll just turn around and say I don't understand why you would be doubtful of Trev Alberts. Now get this. Look, I'll be honest. Most of the athletic directors that have been here, I felt good about. I thought Bill Byrne did a good job with what he had. I thought that I liked what Scott Woodward was doing. Now I didn't realize he was spending like a Democrat, but spending us into oblivion. But I liked what the approach. Now Ross Bjork, we talked about this. I understood why he gave Jimbo the raise and extension. I didn't think he should have. I thought he should.
You're okay with the raise, just not the.
I thought they should have given him a bonus.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was still making $7.5 million over, and he had 7 years left. Who wouldn't take that?
Yeah.
But okay, we're going to make it $9 million and to put 3 more years back. I'm like, okay, that didn't make sense. But I understood why he did it because LSU's trying to get him, and if you let LSU get him after you just finished 4th in the country, what's the reaction to you here?
Right.
So I get it. I didn't understand, and we still don't know. Are we clear that whether Bjork was wanting to hire Mark Stoops or was it somebody else and Bjork was just on board because that's his role?
I'm trying to remember the who behind it.
Because if he was on board, or
I think he was very on board.
If he's on board with it, well, then that was something I would have vehemently disagreed with as the athletic director.
But some of the things that Bjork did great, he hired great coaches. He did.
Yeah, he hired he had some really good hires. So what I'm saying, I guess to summarize to the question is that I don't think I've seen, in fact, I haven't seen Trev Alberts do anything that I didn't disagree with. I understood when you go for Vitello, fine. I understood not getting him. You could have come back and said, yeah, but they should have gone after the guy at Florida.
Yeah.
As I said, okay, they should have. But understand, what's his name? He's got an Irish name, the guy at Florida. The Basque.
Kevin O'Leary.
If you didn't get him, or if you did hire him, understand that then there's a good chance that Lavalette, Grahovec, Kent, Prager, the names go on, would not have been here. And it's easy to say, well, that would.
But people don't want justification. They don't want, and I'm just being like, they just want the results.
Right. Don't tell me about the labor. Just show me.
How did you get there? Right. Somebody is saying Wicked Brew on the chat, and we got to hit a break here. But baseball's 14-14. There's no planet where that is good. I don't think any of us have said it's good.
No one's saying that's good.
All we have said that the early hire made sense
at the time with the situation.
And the results are not good enough. And he would agree.
He has struggled. 14-14 is not acceptable. He may not maintain his job. And if he does not, then Trev, it'll be on him to make a really good hire.
Right.
But again, imagine, like I said again, if the record was 14-14 under O'Leary, and you didn't have, but it's 14-14 because you didn't have, well, you still don't have Grahovec, but, Sorrell, Grahovec, all the guys I talked about, Lavalette, all those guys have left, and then you'd be saying, oh, yeah, see what happened?
Yeah.
If he should have kept Early because then you would have kept those guys. Look, those guys haven't performed.
Look, I think, and let's hit a break here.
Okay.
But we will have a more definitive take over the next year. Okay? Yeah. What happens with baseball? What happens with basketball? We'll have a more definitive take when it comes. And also, how does our NIL in the future, I guess once we get the uniformity of it all, how does ours compare to others? To me, it bugs me that Ole Miss has the funds that I think A&M should have. And I know A&M has the funds, don't get me wrong, but Ole Miss is out overpaying for Lane. Really good coach, by the way. Now they're having to up the ante with Chris Beard. I want it to be us, Well,
and what we don't know is did after Ole Miss came with a counteroffer.
Yeah.
Did Beard say, okay, that's it? Great, thank you, I'm going to do it. And A&M didn't have a chance to counter the counteroffer.
Well, and how much of a hindrance is it having no roster?
I think that's an issue.
That's got to be an issue. All these guys graduating, Pharrell Payne goes in the portal with a do not contact. There's solo left right now. We'll hit a break. We'll talk to Stephen McGee on the other side. Ground shuttle time. They're reliable shuttles from Bryan College Station to George Bush Intercontinental Airport. You can commute in style. Luxury shuttles. They've got reclining seats, power outlets. You can enjoy the ride, catch up on work emails, read a book while your shuttle driver takes care of the driving. Their offices are right next to Casa de Brazil in South College Station. You get dropped off at your office or utilize their convenient and secured on-site parking. They run 9 shuttle times on the weekdays every hour and a half and 5 shuttle times on the weekends every 2.5 hours. Excellent for business travelers and commuters. And they also have charter services. They can take you in and out of state, in and out of town, anywhere in the state. And they'll do it in a private luxury car service in Mercedes class, GLE up to 3 passengers, and recently added to the fleet, the GMC Yukon. The website is groundshuttle.com. Again, that website, groundshuttle.com. Our QB1 is in the house. Stephen McGee, Paragon Financial, here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. What's up, Stephen?
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Doing well.
You had some big news over the last 10, 15 days? How long has it been?
Yeah, 8 days.
8 days?
9 days, I guess.
Getting any sleep?
Yeah. I am. My wife's not. You know how that goes.
Yeah, good husband there. Stephen. Hey, don't bother me with those 2 a.m. feedings. I'm tired. I got to sleep.
You know, both our kids have not taken a bottle, which renders me a little bit useless, so I don't have to feel as guilty. Obviously, I would be up trying to contribute a little bit, but what's that scene off I got nipples, Greg, can you milk me?
So you wouldn't do that's Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents, what a great show.
So you wouldn't do the Pete Buttigieg thing with the
Okay.
Oh gosh, we're going south.
I don't know where we're going.
Well, I'm just saying that's the guy that was in charge of transportation
Who
here.
does he look like this morning?
All right. Earlier today, he said, if you just tuned in, you think you're watching The View. I didn't say it, but I was thinking I was going to make a joke and say, yeah, that's why Rachel Maddow's on. With the dark hair, with the glasses.
The interesting part, the historian that's me, I don't think Rachel Maddow's ever been on The View. I think she's an NBC product.
I know. But it was just.
I took away this.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
I think Clark Kent is more appropriate for today.
But you're a Batman guy, not a Superman guy.
This is true. We got it right here. Hey, have you been following this Buzz stuff and Buzz leaving and A&M striking out on getting Chris Beard? I just want to read this text, and I think we can chew on it from just an A&M historical standpoint or where we are right now. David in Houston, respectfully, getting it done means Vitello and Beard would both be our coaches. Trev has shown an effort but has failed on both of those. And I disagree because I don't think you were ever going to get Vitello, but I like that you made it interesting. The Tennessee baseball head coach who had just beat A&M a few days earlier in the College World Series. And Chris Beard, the guy that they went after. Like OB, I love that they have shown a commitment to try to swing for the fences. I would like for them to get it done with somebody. Regardless of who they hire, it could be like Jimbo. We won't know the results of that tomorrow at a press conference. We'll know 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. And there seems to be some a lack of cohesion, I think, on a lot of levels, right? Not just athletic director's office, but leadership positions at A&M, and maybe not just for this most recent head coach position, but all the major three over the last what has been 2.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I hope we can get that figured out. Obviously, it's important. We need to have the right people, but at the end of the day, I think people go back to the culture, and I think A&M is in desperate need of winning. We need to establish a winning culture, right? And it's hard to get over that hump until you actually just go out and win, right? And some people argue back, well, we did that in baseball. We think we have a winning culture for baseball. Why are they not doing it? And I can't answer that. I really don't know. But one of the fix-all ingredients, the best way to do it that I've ever seen is obviously to just go out there and win, right? Yeah. That's when people get quiet and everyone gets on board. So I hope that Trev can find good people, and I hope that our board of regents is very supportive and lets people do their jobs. Let football coaches coach, let athletic directors go out and hire, and then they provide the resources and the boundaries of which to do those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think some of us are thinking it's easy to get a coach in a major job to leave. Yeah. It happens. But again, A&M made the play that it was going to take to get Chris Beard, and it appeared that they were going to until Ole Miss says, hey, we're going to give you even more, and you don't have to move. You're already here. Like David pointed out earlier, you're not taking over a program with
no players,
minimal roster.
Yeah.
You already know what you've got built here. So he just decided to go with that. Well, I don't think that is an indictment on Trev Alberts for feeling. I think, again, I'll say it to you, I applaud A&M and Trev Alberts for saying, okay, this is the guy we want. We're gonna go all in to get him. If you didn't get him, okay, now who's your next target? But at least they didn't say, well, here, let's try to see who we can get for $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
because basketball, we're good enough. We're fine with where we are. To me, that was the mentality that you would have had back in the day when you probably first came to A&M, when they didn't want to put a lot of money into the infrastructure of A&M athletics, and now they do. So to me, I feel good that they didn't say, hey, you know what, we're just going to find a coach that's easily affordable because, hey, if he can get us to the NCAA tournament, we're good with that. No, they're going all in to be a major player.
Yeah, that is good. And then I think it's, to your point, OB, I think it's really well taken of the big picture job. I mean, it's like in the NFL right now, the Saints head coaching job was not one that other guys that even had not had head coaching experience in the NFL were jumping to go get, right? They didn't have a great quarterback. They were strapped from a salary cap perspective. And so it was almost a death knell. Like, you accept that job, you're pretty much signing up that you're going to probably get fired in 2 years and it starts over. And so the people are looking to take over a job where they have a great quarterback and they have some salary cap space to go out and get some guys on their roster that they need in order to build it out. And I think that's the same perspective here, a little bit different, but hey, like, these guys don't know, like, who is going to be on my roster? Do I have a quarterback? That obviously matters immensely. You need to have, a point guard and all the guys that help you win basketball games. So just other than money, right? Dollars and cents. And then it's a tier 2 school. I mean, this is not a basketball school.
John on the text line is saying we're spinning. I'm not spinning. I want results. I do. But I don't know when those results, I want A&M to close out a football season. I want A&M baseball to close out a championship. Seems far-fetched this year. I want to see A&M basketball get past the freaking second round. This is not okay for me. That being said, I can take a view of it overall and be like, I can't grade the hire that hasn't happened yet because they struck out on Chris Beard.
Right.
It was a long shot from the beginning. Billy said that, right? But whoever they hire, I'm going to do my investigation. I'm going to say, okay, I like him, or I don't know if this is the guy. But regardless of what I think on day one, it's day 750 that's going to matter, or 3 years from now.
Amen. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Results, right? I mean, we need to be about the results and winning. And quite frankly, I know Buzz is, a lot of people love him. A lot of Aggie fans love Buzz. He's very endeared amongst a lot of people. But I would say at the end of the day, like, it was the right decision to move on from him. I think
Well, he moved on from us. But,
well, either way, I think it worked out in our best interest.
I agree with that.
If they get this hire right.
2 wins in the tournament in 6 years and winning, 55% of his SEC games? Like, that's not grade A. Like, that's not the kind of, after 6 years, you kind of feel like, hey, this is who you are at our school. So to me, that doesn't define success for A&M. I think if you're going to go at it, you might as well start over and find someone who can win football or basketball games for you. Sorry, 2
football topics on the other side. Let's get into some football, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about the Association of Former Students. If you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggieland or already in Aggieland but needing a job, reach out to the good folks there at the Association of Former Students. We had Scott in studio the other day talking about they have openings all over the place. If you're looking for a job or trying to relocate here, they sometimes have openings in fundraising and marketing and communications, several other areas. Don't miss opportunities to help out with the association's big events like Howdy Socials, Aggie Reading Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or maybe sharing with someone who would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It's the Association of Former Students. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So Greg McElroy, says that Steve Angeli, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, the Notre Dame quarterback, could be the second coming of Joe Burrow. His quote was, he was thrust into the Penn State game against one of the best defenses in the country. I saw Angeli go into the lineup and just methodically right down the field, accurately carving up a defense. Who's to say his ceiling? That would be very A&M-like, right?
I'm saying pump the brakes, Greg.
What is he, number 12?
I don't remember his jersey number, but he was the backup last year.
Yeah, he could spin it all right. I remember watching him in pregame, and Gerrod thought that was Riley Leonard. He's like, yeah, he's a pretty good spinner. I go, Gerrod, that's not that's not Riley. That's Riley. He goes, he's like, that guy can spin it a lot better than that kid.
Yeah, he has a nice throw. He can throw, but if you're quarterback at Notre Dame, you should be able to throw.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does.
Wait till the lights come on.
I mean, let's talk about
Chris Sims could spin it. Remember Chris Sims?
Yeah.
That dude was pretty under the lights, at practice, 7-on-7.
Oh, gosh, I saw him in practice. Mac used to open practice.
Boy,
and he would say, of course he's your starting quarterback. And
I remember as a kid, I loved watching him throw. He could really spin it. Exactly. That's the problem. I think that's our point.
I'm not going to disparage Angeli. He looked good when he came out against Penn State.
He's got some good running backs.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do. But when a defense has prepared for one guy and the next guy's coming in and doing things a little bit different.
Marcel Reed, LSU.
Yeah. So you might see when the teams are preparing for Angeli. And look, I'm not saying he's incompetent.
Gardner Stockton, Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's incompetent.
Yeah.
Okay. No. But I'm just saying you're going to start talking about Joe Burrow.
That's a bit of a stretch. I mean, more than a bit.
Joe Burrow was good as a junior. He wasn't nearly what he was as a senior. But the leap wasn't nearly what you're suggesting.
Sure.
You know who I'm excited, or my dark horse is this year, quarterback-wise? Is Ole Miss's quarterback.
Like Austin Simmons.
Exactly. Ole Miss's quarterback, the lefty, the baseball pitcher, the kid that was, Austin Simmons. He was supposed to be a senior in high school last year, wasn't he?
I think he did reclassify.
I think he reclassified. He was the backup last year. He's got a big arm lefty in that system. He's going to be productive.
I wonder if they have the same caliber of receivers.
It's a good question.
They always have good ones, but Trey Harris.
My thing is with Lane, I think the offense will be fine.
Exactly. I feel like it's a plug and play. It's like a Texas Tech. I feel very confident they're going to probably win 9 games again next year. 9-3.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wonder if they're going to stop anybody. They may be a lot like A&M. You score a lot of points, but can you stop anybody?
Well,
yeah.
I'm a little more optimistic that the defense will be a bit better.
Got to see it.
Why?
They brought in some folks.
They brought in.
I got to see it.
I want to see it. You know my bullish case for A&M's defense this year? It's Mike Elko calling plays.
Yeah.
I love. Do you remember back in Jimbo's days when he was the DC? They did some great stuff.
They did. Thank you for optimism to end that segment because it was bad. We'll be back. It's TexAgs Live. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Expect to be talking some baseball with Michael Earley. I hope the folks at Bryan Broadcasting give him a ring. Hopefully we'll get him on the program here in the next couple of minutes. Richard Zane with us. Hi, Richard.
Good morning.
How are you?
Take your glasses
Oh, gosh,
off.
bless. I forgot.
Yeah, put your glasses back on.
I can't see well. It's my writing. You know what I mean? It's the small font.
It's Clark Kent here, not Superman, for anybody who's watching.
How are you this morning, buddy?
I'm good, man. I got up early, had some breakfast, some coffee, feeling good.
Yep.
I've noticed that, and I know you're a big proponent of routine and eating right. I've noticed that when I actually get up, I'm a guy who likes to sleep. Like I'll sleep in to the last possible second, get up, start my day kind of thing. But I've noticed that when I get up early and start having my breakfast, it leads to a happier Richard, which I know you don't get enough of.
Well, I like happy Richard, and I like a happy Michael Earley. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering hotline. We are joined by Coach Earley here on the program. Coach Earley, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How you doing?
Coach Earley?
Can you hear me?
I haven't. Oh. I can hear.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Hi, Coach. How are you? David, having a little bit of technical difficulties, but how has the rest of this week looked since we last talked to you Tuesday night after that 21-1 win over Incarnate Word?
Yeah, I mean, normal, practice yesterday, preparing for Tennessee, and just getting ready for this road trip. Take off here in about a couple hours, and just excited to get going and play some more baseball.
Our baseball conversation with Coach Earley is brought to you by Duck Camp. Duck Camp, we know the best moments happen out there on the boat, casting a line, or hauling in the catch of the day. Be sure to check out Duck Camp's new spring hats like the fan favorite crawfish hat and the redfish hat at duckcamp.com. Coach Earley, can you give us an update on the health of the team? Caden Sorrell, he seemed to be a little bit banged up after the game. How's he doing?
He's fine. He's going to have that a little bit with his hamstring. It's something he hurt when he was hitting, so sometimes it cramps up on him. But all signs point to indicate that he'll be ready to go this weekend. So he'll be good. Cash will probably be out, I would assume, most likely out. Josh Stewart, I think we're moving towards the direction of surgery, so I don't really anticipate him playing the rest of the year. So, and Troy Watson got back up on the mound yesterday, though, battled back from injury and pitched really, really well. Won't be available this weekend, but a guy that's battled back, I think you'll see him at some point this season.
Mixed bag on the health update from Coach Earley there. The first guy you mentioned, Caden Sorrell, obviously we got to see him play his first games of the year this past weekend, then into this week. How has he responded to getting back into the lineup, and what have you seen from him in just his first 4 games of action?
Yeah, I mean, it just adds so much depth to our lineup and pushes the lineup down a little bit. And he's going to need a few games to get in it. But I mean, honestly, with him, he has no excuse. He just gets in there and he's ready to go. So I mean, outstanding talent. And he adds not only a talent to the lineup, but just a competitor, like an elite competitor that's not afraid of anyone out there on the baseball field. And you love having him in there. I think you can see that it brings something a little different, spaces out the lineup, and yeah, we just got to keep him healthy and get the timing a little better, and he's going to be really good for us.
Talking to Coach Earley here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. To spend a moment on Gavin Lyons, who looked really, really effective on Tuesday. Do you see his role increasing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's earned it. Those Tuesday games are important too. So that's the balance, right? About balancing the weekend with the Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, for sure, he's definitely earning more innings, and he'll get them. Now, what type of innings those are, we'll see. I don't necessarily think it's going to be, closing the ninth, but he's definitely earned more innings along with Cade McCoy. And it's really good to see those freshman guys kind of grow throughout the year and turn into kind of the guys you thought they were. And it's just a balance of future and now, where now being the most important, but at the same time, you got to make sure you get those guys in there because you want to keep that foundation from those young pitchers that you can have from years to come.
It was awesome to see Gavin have that kind of outing on Tuesday night, but then you mentioned it, Caden McCoy pitching in SEC games again this weekend. What have those two freshmen done behind the scenes that have allowed them to have this kind of success so early in their collegiate careers?
I think one advantage those two have, and it's to their credit for being observant, but they have they have some older guys in front of them that really know what they're doing, and they get to watch that. And I know they've taken them under their wing, and but they've come in since day one. Both of them don't talk much. They do what they're supposed to do. They had every one of them had rough outings either in the fall or spring, but they've continued to put their head down and work. And, obviously they're talented, but at the same time, they're good dudes that work really hard. And they've really fully taken advantage of the examples of what it's supposed to look like that are older than them. And, not everyone does that. And that's something you regret as a player if you have someone you can look up to and see how they do it and you don't take advantage of it. But those guys have fully taken advantage of that.
Mike, obviously Jace broke the record over the weekend, and then he had another huge game on Tuesday. Just talk about him, and the numbers are now getting back to what we expected from Jace overall.
I lost you for a second, man. Say that one more time.
Just talking about Jace, the week that he's had, breaking the record, and then obviously Tuesday night with the 7 RBIs and then the homer, and just getting back to some of the production that we're used to from him.
Sorry, David. I guess our wires are a little messed up today, but it's been good. He looks super comfortable in the box, but he's just really competing. That's been my message to him. There's always some mechanical changes, stuff you can do here and there, but it's at that point of the year where it's like you got to compete with every pitch, every at bat, and let the ball fly where it's going to fly. And that's what he's done. He's done a really good job of just getting the right pitches and just hitting the ball hard. I mean, that's all Jace. It's really simple for him. And I try to, get him to not overcomplicate it. And it's like, you hit the ball hard, get good pitches, hit those pitches hard. You're going to have good results more than not. But yeah, I mean, getting that record was awesome. I mean, a really cool thing for him. And then coming back on Tuesday and have another really good game heading into the weekend. So I just really like his at bats, even when he's not getting hits. They've been more productive than they were earlier on in the season. And I think you can see he's getting going a little bit.
We've also seen you shuffle your lineup up a little bit. Now Terrence Keel, the second, batting leadoff. You got Wyatt Hensler behind Jace. How much is the protection of Wyatt kind of allowed Jace to settle in and have a different approach at the plate?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. I mean, it helps. It's going to make teams a little, hesitate maybe to bring that left-hander in because you got Wyatt right in front of him, but getting him pitches to hit. So yeah, for sure, it gives him a little protection. But I think with the Violet, when he's locked in, he's in a good mode. I don't think it matters where he hits in the lineup or who's behind him or who's in front of him. To be honest with you, if he stays in that, then he's going to have a lot of success. But having Wyatt for sure definitely helps. But at the same time, I think when Jason's locked in, man, he's as good as it gets.
Another guy that's been locked in has been Royo, another 3-run homer on Tuesday night. It feels like we ask about him on every Thursday, Coach, but how impressive has it been to see Ben continue this offensive surge he's been on, knowing that he's in the lineup and in the game because of what he can do with the glove?
It's been great. I mean, it's been great. It gives you like to have something at the bottom of the lineup and not just wait for the top. So he's done a really good job. Really good job. He's doing everything we've asked him to do, and continues to perform. And obviously, like I said, I mean the defense is key. But I'd be lying if I told you I like what he's doing with the bat. He's competing, and Ben's got tools. He's like I said, he's not just some guy. It's about him putting it all together. Like he can run, he can throw, plays really good defense, has a ton of power. It's about him just playing and relaxing out there, and he's done that so far. And we want to continue to see him do it.
Coach Earley facing the number one team in the country this weekend, obviously a rematch of the championship, different stakes, kind of a different vibe, and different roster for Tennessee a bit. So when you look at this series, what are some of the things that jump out other than the obvious?
It's a great test for us. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better time to play a team like that and what they've been this season and go into their place. And it's going to be a extremely tough atmosphere against a really, really good ball club. And, where we're at in our season and compared to where they're at, I couldn't ask for a better time to go there. I mean, if you can't get excited about this or ready to play for this, and then I can't help you. And you're going to see none of that. I mean, we're going to be ready to go. So, I think it's a perfect timing for us. Like, why not right now? Why not right now? Let's go in there and take care of business. So we're ready to go. I mean, can't wait to get on the plane and get to practice tonight and get to play this weekend.
David mentioned it. Obviously, this weekend's a rematch of last year's national championship series. How much has what transpired in Omaha last June been talked about this week, and is it being utilized as perhaps a motivating factor for you and your guys?
Yeah, I mean, you always got. I think maybe a little bit, but not much, to be honest with you. We got a pretty. I think our team is pretty different. Their team's pretty different, and just a different feel. But yeah, at the same time, you want to beat anyone, and that loss in national championship will always sting. So I don't think that's anything I need to say to use to motivate these guys. I think they're all pretty juiced up to get out there.
But this can be a line in the sand moment, right? A great result this weekend can kind of change the trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. That's the way I look at it. I mean, that's the way I look at every weekend, to be honest with you. So, I mean, but especially now, I mean, what better time and challenge if you can do this? I mean, we just got to go out and play good baseball. The results are going to be the results. I want to see us play good baseball, but at the same time, like wins are needed. Wins are needed, and we're not going in there just to play well, and we're not looking for any moral victory. Like, we're going in there to win. Period. And so, yeah, you're exactly right. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I view it. And I think that's the way you're going to see us attack it this weekend.
Coach Earley, thank you so much for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Michael Earley on the Buffy's Catering Hotline. It's interesting because
I saw you almost took your glasses off. Right? You thought about it.
There was a moment. I can't keep them on very long. It's like it's not a headache, but it's like an uncomfortable. Like I can do it for like short stints. Anyway. I know that most people think this is going to be another bad outing for the team. I recognize that that's what baseball fans are thinking, and even A&M fans. But back to that point, I'm not predicting a victory or winning the series. I'm going to talk about the facts. The facts are, and you've brought it up many times on the show, Richard. These games, they're in all of these games. These are not an embarrassing loss. It's an embarrassing season. It's embarrassing that they find new ways to lose. But they are in all these games, right?
Yeah.
So a play or two could make all the difference in the world in the Alabama series, the Kentucky series. Like, we can go on. There's a play or two that could have changed the trajectory. Vandy.
It's a play or two. It's a pitch or two. The margins in the Southeastern Conference and in each of these games and in each of these series are so razor thin, and you've known that for years and years, right? It's just being magnified right now because A&M's on the wrong side of those outcomes. And you spoke about it, right? Tennessee's the top-ranked team in the country. Texas A&M's unranked. They're 500 overall, 1-8 in the SEC. Everyone knows this is a tall task for the Aggies. Mike Earley said as much earlier in this segment on this interview. Yeah. He knows what his team's up against. It doesn't mean they're just going to roll over for the Tennessee Volunteers. They haven't rolled over in any game yet this year. We saw them be down 7-1 against Kentucky on opening night, or the opening game of last weekend's series at home. They came back and won. What gives me some confidence and some hope, and again, I know hope is not a strategy, but I am not inside the baseball program. I'm not a coach. I'm not on the team. I'm allowed to have hope. They're the ones that actually have to have real strategy and real game plans to go out there and try to find a way to beat the Vols. What gives me hope is that the offense has come around, right? How many runs have they scored in the last 4 games? I believe it's 46, quick math. And that's 21 against Incarnate Word, I know, but it was 25 against Kentucky last weekend. And the pitching was bad last weekend. That's abnormal. And you got 3 bad starts from all 3 of your guys. That's abnormal. So if Ryan Prager, Justin Lampkin, and Miles Patton can revert back towards the mean and the offense can keep this up, A&M is going to have a chance to be in the games, every single one of them, all 3 of these games against the top-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. And we'll see how it goes. Like you said, margins are super thin. They could be just as easily be on the right side of.
Cade Matthews was trying to get me to ask a question to Coach Earley. I'm going to ask you the question to us because I think the answer is obvious. But he goes, what does success this weekend look like? And then he follows up, which I think is a little bit of a jab, winning a game. No, success this weekend is winning the series.
Sure.
Even if you don't think it's possible.
You're at the point in this season where you can't have moral victories, right? And in the Southeastern Conference, the old adage is, you win your series at home and you avoid getting swept on the road. That's how you stay at 500 in this league because it's so difficult each and every weekend. But A&M has used up more than their allotted fair share of mulligans, right? They are in too big of a hole to just win one game and feel okay about it, right? At least going on the road. Success is absolutely winning the series. That's a tall order. We know it. A&M knows it. The head coach knows it. Doesn't mean they're going to stop trying in the pursuit of reaching that goal.
So I did this during the season. I don't think people like when I do this, but I do it because in the moment you got to reevaluate things. Before the season, we had this thought that for a successful season would be A&M getting into the second weekend. During the year, that even amplified to maybe they can get to a Final Four, Elite Eight, because how they did in the non-conference and how they started SEC play. Then it kind of plummeted during the 4-game losing streak.
Sure.
Then the Auburn win, and the results are they did not meet expectations. This baseball team, no matter what, short of going undefeated the rest of the way and winning a national championship, is not going to meet expectations. That being said, if we reevaluate what success the rest of the season looks like, what is that?
Success the rest of the season, you have to find a way to right the ship, right? The only way that you can have success from this point, April the 3rd on through the rest of the year, is to start winning series, get close to that 500 level in conference play, and find a way to get into the NCAA tournament. That's the only way I think the rest of the year from this point on can be deemed a success. And I understand that that's a tall task. It's a tall order considering you have to go to Knoxville this weekend, Fayetteville in 2 weekends, and then the weekend after that, you got to go to Austin. You've got top 5 series, and then don't forget you have to welcome in LSU to Bluebell Park at some point this year. It's not going to be easy. It's unlikely at this point as we sit right here at this desk on April the 3rd. Once again, that doesn't mean they are going to just roll over and die and quit in the pursuit of success. That's not who Michael Earley is. That's not who any of those guys in that clubhouse are. So why would you expect them to do it? Because it hasn't gone to expectations thus far. Yeah, look, there's only one way to make you feel a little bit better. And I say a little bit because there's no way you go from, on knocking on the door of a national championship to where you are right now. The only way you feel a tad better, like you can get out of bed after having the flu, is to creep back into 500. Yep. I am not optimistic. I'm not, right? But I will go to each game with a hope, and I'll go into the series with a hope. And then what can a little bit of success do? Can you follow it up with a little bit more success? They've got to get the first step going, which is win an SEC series. It's an uphill climb. It's going to be an uphill climb each and every weekend. But what the cliche is, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time, right? Yep. Your first bite's going to be Friday night in Knoxville, and the next one's Saturday, Sunday, and then so forth. Thank you, Richard. Good stuff. We'll see you on the baseball bunch tomorrow. Brazos Running Company. They're located at Century Square. They're an Aggie-owned and operated specialty running store with an outstanding selection of all the shoe brands that you want. You like Brooks, you like On, you like Hoka, you like New Balance. They have them all there, and they want to make sure that they put you in the right shoe. If you're a runner or interested in fitness at all, the right shoe makes all the difference in the world. And at the Brazos Running Company, they're going to find you that right shoe. They'll put you through a battery of tests. It's not hard. You'll walk on a treadmill, you'll run on a treadmill, or they'll just ask you, what do you usually go with? And what kind of runner are you? Or whatever the fitness goal it may be, and they're going to find you the right one. They're the local retailer for Viore clothing, and they are also your source for Duck Camp outdoor apparel. They have turtle box speakers with maroon accents and handles, Stanley cups. It is the Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. Check out the Brazos Running Company.
Gerrod Chadwell, please make fun of me in a moment. Look, I'm going to be very honest with the public. When I turn off my mic when I leave the studio because you never know what kind of conversation could happen. Let's just go to the Bumpy's Catering hotline. Coach Chadwell is in Augusta. Chadwell, or Coach Chadwell, how are you, sir?
I'm in Augusta. I think I can just say that, right?
Yes.
Everything's good, Nuño.
Well, I'm going to, give you a little behind the scenes what happens. So when I leave the studio, I turn off my mic. You never know what Billy's going to say, right, in the lobby. You don't know what Bronny's going to say. Sometimes I got to go to the bathroom, so I always turn off the mic. And every once in a while, I come in studio, I forget to turn it on, and I start a segment, I'm looking directly at the camera, and nobody can hear anything. So that's what happened there a moment ago. But I'm happy you're in Augusta. How are things going out there?
Everything's good. Kata's just getting started with her rounds. Made 2 great pars to start. Looks really good. And we got to see Scarlett's first couple holes. She birdied her second hole today. So probably need something around even par or slightly under for them to make the cut to play Saturday at Augusta National.
So let me see if I get this right. I believe Scarlett was 1 over yesterday and Kata was even. Am I thinking about that correctly?
Scarlett was 1 over. Yeah, Kata was even. So they're both off to good starts today. We need some scores are going to be, I think, low again today. There's not much wind and everything's pretty soft. So Kata's round, she got to watch the 63 shot yesterday, so she probably felt like she shot 100.
I can imagine when you're playing with people that are cooking like that, and you're having a nice day, but it just feels like insurmountable.
It does, and the hole looks a lot smaller. And in some ways, you're trying to get out of their way because they got a great one going. And another caveat to that, one of the girls in their group withdrew, so they're playing in a twosome. So you got really nowhere to go, and you're trying to slow the pace down because you're constantly waiting on the group in front of you. So, but is one of the things we talked about Kata, from last year to this year, just her maturity and handling things better and learning in that moment. I thought she did a great job with all that yesterday.
Well, she can also lean into the fact that she, even though she's a very young player, has got experience here. This is her 3rd time there, 4th place in 23, top 20 in 24. So, she knows she can do it.
Yeah, that was the thing. Her sister's on the bag yesterday and today, and I caddied 4 in the practice round. And so there wasn't really, we're more hitting shots. It wasn't like we're learning the golf course and she says, I really love this place. So that probably shows and how she has progressed to Saturdays. Because in years past, this golf course, Champions Retreat, has played harder than they've set up Augusta National. And I say that in no disrespect to Augusta National, but it's just conditions and everything that's happened over here has made the Wednesday, Thursday rounds a little bit harder than the Saturday round at Augusta National.
Can you kind of explain why this is a big deal? I mean, obviously we know Augusta, but especially for young players to be given this platform to experience what it looks like, feels like, to have all the eyeballs on them. Just kind of talk about it for your young players, what this means.
Yeah, I think, look, if you've had the privilege or the opportunity to go to the Masters, there's not a piece of pine straw out of place. There's no stone unturned. The organization, everything is just, it's just perfect. And that's what it is for these young ladies. I remember just my first time to experience this when I was at Houston with Player in the first year. I went back and told Stacy, my wife, I was like, man, this is better than any professional event I've ever been to. Then I got to experience the Solheim Cup with her, and I would probably put that as number 1 now, but this is number 2 above any really event that I've been to. You could maybe parallel it with a major championship, to be fair on the women's side, but for some, this is as good as it gets. This is the best women's golf tournament they'll ever play in. And so, I think it's combined with the fact, you get to go play Augusta National on Friday, and if you make the cut Saturday, but just what they do starting on Monday is first class all the way around. They even fly parents in. It's just first class. Period.
What about for Scarlett too? How she can use this and leverage it for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I think, the interesting thing with Scarlett, I got to watch her a couple of weeks ago at a big junior event in South Carolina, and her ascension, I mean, she's gone from, I don't even know if we tracked it from, I might have been 400 in the world to like number 80. she's playing in all these events really fast. And how she has handled that, and her expectations are still high. She's showing up here to try and win. But to get that exposure as a junior golfer still, she's not in college golf, just only helps her, just wisdom, her experience. I'm staying, the USC coach and I rent a house, and they have a couple players who are the top 10 in the world. And one of them made a mistake coming in, and they're like, man, it's kind of tough. And they're like, yeah, this is like a professional event. Like you don't get away with much, and to try and advance, you got to be pretty clean to make a cut to play on Saturday. So I think all these experiences, look, Scarlett's going to have a great summer. So is everybody in that class. It's just, they'll have some things when they come into school in the fall that they'll adjust to just from college life, but their experience from the sport will be a lot more than what's transpired with a lot of our freshman classes.
Gerrod, I don't think we spoke since the Charles Schwab, the collegiate, and looking back at it, if I remember correctly, you all started rough but finished strong. Is that kind of jiving? I feel like this is something that your team has gotten really good at, is finding a way to finish.
Well, it was actually opposite. We actually started really good in the week. We actually finished the final round really well. We just got off to a bad start. But I was a little bit disappointed in that week because I thought that was a place that we could play really well, where pars were premium. Colonial was a beast. There was no rough and no win, and those were the scores. Stanford has now won, I don't know, they haven't lost a tournament in like a year and a half, and I think they shot even par to win. So the good thing is that thing is going to prepare us for the Mo coming up. That thing is going to prepare us for SECs. But I was just a little bit disappointed because I thought we'd have played a lot better there, provided what we've been doing on a week-in, week-out basis.
Talking to Gerrod Chadwell here on TexAgs Live. Coach, let's talk about the Mo coming up real soon. I know it's very important to you.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. First off, the Mo is for Monica Welsh. Everybody's pretty familiar with the Welsh family, General Welsh. That was, his sister who was passed away in a pretty tragic car accident, after her time on the team at A&M. But, not only that, it's the only home tournament we have all year. So, you'll see a little bit different version of our girls. They'll be excited, not that they're not appreciative, but to be able to play in front of Aggies at home, that's a special week for us. And so it's exciting for us to be able to do that. The amount of people that help us put on that tournament, from traditions to volunteers, rules officials, you name it. It's one of the special ones in our sport, from just a manpower and the way the young ladies feel when they leave.
So looking ahead, we've got the SECs, the NCAAs, you got the Mo. Just how do you feel the team is shaping up for a strong finish?
Great. It's a really great question. We had a team meeting before the Continental Park this week, and I say this just the way it is. This is the latest in the year of any team that ever coached that I don't know who our best five are. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I say that for these young ladies to still stay hungry and try and lock up a spot. But we're still trying to figure that out, is who is our best five going into postseason. The good thing with that, everybody's going to get to play at the Mo, and then we're going to have to try and figure out who's going to be in the lineup for SECs. So it's not a bad thing. We've just been a little bit inconsistent at the bottom of the lineup. So just trying to find somebody to be a little more consistent, to give us one or two rounds, in a 54-hole tournament will be huge for us as we try to advance.
Gerrod, I want you in studio soon, man. It's been too long. We'll get you here when you get back, all right?
You got it, brother. Thanks, Nuño.
All right, brother. Enjoy it. Hopefully they get it done. Gerrod Chadwell on the Bumpy's Catering hotline. We'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Aaron Torres. Hot sports take Jake. One that I can get down with. We'll talk about that on the other side. Right now we're talking Heritage Films. Look, they make professional cinematic quality documentaries about families. That's the bottom line. That's all you need to know. Your family needs a documentary. Yes, you, even Cade back there. Families need a documentary. You need to know about the origin story, everything. I mean, it doesn't matter what the story is. It needs to be told, captured, and preserved for generation after generation. Chance McClain, he captures these stories. Huge production process, professional-grade equipment, nationwide service, very personal, relationship-focused approach. And not just for famous people. I'm talking about all of us. We all have a story to tell. Cinematic style, Netflix, HBO, you name it. Builds multi-generational understanding. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. 713-893-8341. Again, that number is 713-893-8341. You should also consider the YearFlix 20-minute video time capsule to capture the child's some great milestones. It doesn't even have to be a young child, right? It can be a college student. It can be high school. It can be middle school, kind of getting to those benchmarks. The website, again, is yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. It is now time for Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve Conservancy and Community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. With that, we go to the Buppy's Catering Hotline. That's where we find Aaron Torres, who I believe, by the way, Aaron Torres online, Fox Sports Radio, I believe he's already in San Antonio. Is that right, AT?
I am in San Antonio, David Nuño. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I remember a couple years ago. I'm just gonna look. I'm not picking on you. I'm just gonna tell you. We always start with a rivalry. It's just how we roll. A couple years ago, you were in Houston. Your UConn Huskies were, I believe, playing in Houston for a national championship, and you alluded to coming by TexAgs and hanging out with us. But then you're like, man, I got too much going on, and UConn's here, not gonna be able to make it. A little bit further of a drive, but you're in San Antonio. I don't remember you mentioning coming by College Station at all.
Well, that's why. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, or whatever they say.
Right.
I listen. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of integrity, and so when I couldn't keep that promise in 2023, I didn't want to make the equally same promise in 2025 and not be able to live up to it. So that is why I did not reach out to you. I did not tell you I was going to be in your city or your state, I should say. And I did not make a promise that I could not keep that I was coming to Texas. David, the thing is, though, how it is that you get to these events and you make these plans and, I'm literally on my way to the arena pretty much in the next 20 minutes. And it's just like, by the time that I get to the arena, it's just, you leave, there's just not as much time as you think. You always think you're going to have more time. And so I do apologize. There is nothing in the world that I wanted more than to get up and see you guys at TexAgs. It did not happen. But again, that's how as you mature, you get older, you know your strengths and weaknesses and your limitations. And I knew this year probably wasn't going to San Antonio. Probably wasn't going to TexAgs. Probably wasn't going to TexAgs.
Well, all good. Hey, I did want to chat with you because you and I have had conversations on air and off air about A&M basketball. Buzz Williams takes the job at Maryland. And you had a take that, I don't know, you'd been sitting on for a while, but I enjoyed it. I don't have it in front of me. I should have had the tweet. But I'm just going to allow you to talk a little bit about Buzz, his time in college basketball, not necessarily College Station. And maybe I'll have a retort. Maybe I won't. Let's hear it.
To me, this kind of goes back to when he actually was about to take the A&M job. And I've never really gotten to know him on any personal level. I frankly don't know how many media people just in general have at all.
I don't.
So I'm not attacking him as a person, but I can tell you, there were conversations that I had in the, whatever it would have been, winter of 2017, spring of 2018, where it became pretty clear that his last season at Virginia Tech, he was kind of angling to go ahead and try and get the Texas A&M job. And so I sit there and say, this guy spent his last year at Virginia Tech trying to get the A&M job, and it really felt like history was sort of repeating itself this year because it felt like to a large degree, this was a guy that was spending a lot of this year trying to figure out an exit strategy from A&M. And so I don't have all the details. You guys probably do. Frankly, the way that you guys cover TexAgs, the way that TexAgs covers A&M, maybe the audience even has some details that I don't. But I just think that's a disingenuous way of treating people, a fan base, your team. And I'm not a fan. And I think in about 4 or 5 years, Maryland fans are going to go through the same things that A&M fans went through this year, that Virginia Tech fans went through in 2020, 2017, whatever it was. And just not a fan of treating people that way in general.
Well, look, I think Buzz, he's the kind of coach I want my kids to play for, honestly. I think he loves his players. He loves his program. There's a lot I love about Buzz. I love the idea of Buzz. I do think that, when you're paid as a top 10 coach, you should have more aspirations than the second round of the NCAA tournament, right? And I don't think A&M would have, should have fired him based on the results on the court, but I think if you would have asked me when he first got hired, I would have said, you can get anybody. I feel like you can get, with A&M's resources, you can get most people to do that. And that's not a shot at Buzz. I think A&M's at a critical juncture basketball-wise, AT, they miss out on Chris Beard. They got to get the right guy. And in this new world of NIL, even if it's not a guy that moves the needle, they can see some movement. But if they get it wrong, it's going to send them back big time.
100%. And so first of all, I want to comment on the first part of that because, I was as high on that hire as you could be. And, I'll be real. Maybe I was a little bit naive at the time of, he's from Texas. This is where he wants to be. And I thought maybe this was the exception of, hey, maybe this isn't a 3-4 year, I guess it ended up being 6, but, 5-6 year window. Maybe this is the one that he actually sticks through and he ends up staying, and this is where he retires. And so one, shame on me for the naivete, but two, if you had told me that the Buzz Williams era would end with Texas A&M winning a grand total of 2 NCAA tournament games, I don't know that I would have deemed that a success, and I don't know that A&M fans should deem it a success. And I think the big thing, David, is this sports world is trending so fast in favor of the SEC and the Big Ten and the power conferences, et cetera, that I just bring it up because I think that, A&M only going to only winning 2 NCAA tournament games in his time, given that we're sitting at a Final Four with Auburn in Florida. We're sitting a year removed from Alabama being in a Final Four, Tennessee back-to-back Elite Eight. I don't know that just making the tournament, even at a quote-unquote football school, is good enough. And so, to me, I think you can fairly say that it was maybe a little bit of an underwhelming era. I think the style of play, certainly, I noticed it from a distance, didn't seem to resonate with the fans, especially this year as you got deeper into the season. And so to your point, I think the good news is in this NIL portal world, let me transition. In the NIL portal world, it doesn't have to be a big name. It has to be a guy with a real plan. Todd Golden wasn't a big name when he was hired. He looks like a superstar rising, going to a Final Four. You go on and on down the list. I just think that we're past the world of you have to go get the established big name. Go get a guy that understands NIL, that accepts NIL, that has a plan for NIL, a plan for the portal, whatever. And then do it quick and get to work because obviously there's going to be a lot of stuff that has to be done here in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I agree with all that. One thing my brother actually brought up to me, he goes, when you talk about these smaller names, or not smaller names, but names that are not maybe household names that have done it at a different level but not at the big school, is that, yeah, they've done it, but the schools that they've gone to have more of a track record than A&M when it comes to basketball. Florida, for instance, Alabama, for instance. Do you believe that to be the case, or do you think A&M has broken through at least a narrative out there that they can be a basketball school?
I think anyone in the SEC, I think, if Vandy can make a NCAA tournament in year one, there's no reason that you can't win at a pretty high level, pretty much anywhere in the conference. Now, we understand that from an interest perspective, from an excitement perspective, listen, one, A&M isn't the only school that football moves the needle. I mean, I was joking last week about, Florida loses in the Sweet 16 or the Elite Eight. Conversation the next morning is about DJ Lagway. I mean, so it's not an A&M thing, and it's not. And by the way, here's the other thing too. It's not a problem to be a quote unquote football school as long as you have the right basketball coach that understands the advantages that can create. You think about a guy like Dusty May at Michigan. He kind of embraces, hey, I am not in the spotlight. I think Nate Oates kind of embraces not being in the spotlight at Alabama 365 days a year. So to me, I don't care. Like, Alabama had never made a Final Four before last year. I haven't crunched the numbers, but I don't think prior to Nate Oates, Alabama had this significantly much better history in basketball than Texas A&M did. So to me, and again, I know it goes to the theme of the conversation, get the right guy, get the guy that understands this era of college ball, and just get to work. But I don't think because A&M hasn't done something that Florida or Tennessee has, that means that A&M can't be successful in basketball.
Super intrigued by Duke, U of H. I have ties to Kelvin Sampson. I covered him for many years in Houston. I think he's a phenomenal head coach, and obviously he is a coach that maybe wasn't hot on the market when Houston hired him, but look what he's been able to do. Let's talk about that matchup, though, this weekend. U of H, Duke. What do you think?
I think it's going to be great. I think they're both great matchups. And I know sometimes, this has been the hot topic of conversation about, Cinderella versus no Cinderella versus this versus that. Give me two teams. How about this with Houston? I don't think people understand. Houston's lost one game since Thanksgiving week, David. And, and they're not doing it in the AAC, respectfully to that conference. Like, they did it in the Big 12. They went 19-1 in the Big 12 and won the conference tournament as well. So I think that Duke is the rightful favorite coming in. They have the most size, the most athleticism, the most talent, the most NBA players. But I mean, if you go 19-1 in the Big 12, you know, you beat Arizona twice, you beat BYU 2-3 times, you beat Iowa State a bunch. Like you're a pretty good team in your own right. And so I think the big thing is, you know, just the size of Duke has basically overwhelmed everybody, including Alabama. And I'll be curious, what's it called? Houston isn't the biggest team. Does it eventually wear them down as well? I don't know, but I'm intrigued. And I think anybody who's just handing this game to Duke because of what they did to Alabama or at any point in the tournament is obviously making a grave mistake.
AT, thank you, brother. Enjoy San Antonio. Hope to see you soon, man.
Yes, if I'm swinging that way, I'll let you know for sure. I promise. Okay?
It's not going to happen, but it's okay. I get it.
Don't stay by your phone too long, all right?
Later, bro.
Later, bro.
See ya. I'm not going to San Antonio either. It is what it is. Bird dog time. Let's talk about hunting experiences. When's the last time you went hunting with a bunch of buddies? Some of you, like not that long ago. Were all the logistics taken care of? Did you have to like make calls and get it all set up? You just go in your backyard and start shooting things? Like what happened? Bird Dog can actually set up all the logistics for you. They can make it a great weekend away with your buddies and take care of all the logistics from the parties, the concerts, the add-ons like helicopter hunting, you name it. Bird Dog can do it. Private chef, all the foods. They're so phenomenal. They're an Airbnb for hunting. That's one aspect of what they do, but they also make money for landowners. So yes, they can find hunters for your land, but they can also find you the tax benefits on your land. What you need to do is check out the website to learn all about it. birddogit.com is the website. Remember, Bird Dog for all your full-service hunting experiences, but for your landowners, make sure that they will help you make money on your land. Some of them are making an extra $100 to $500 per acre of land. It is Bird Dog, the website, birddogit.com. Mike. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Billy Lucci just popped in with
the
a minute.
tornado. The tornado.
The Torniac.
So much better than the Torniac. Zaniac would be better than Torniac.
That's
Because it sounds like
established.
Maniac. Zaniac. She's the tornado.
The Torniac.
Speaking of, did you see the tornadoes yesterday in Arkansas? And it was scary.
I did not see it.
Go look at some of those videos,
Hey,
dude. Some of the craziest.
In a minute 30, Logan Lee will be joining. You want
I
to
know.
stay with us for a little bit?
No,
Come
I
on.
would, but I've actually, the sleep station is coming by to drop off a new mattress because I'm a diva, and the one I was like, and you know, Jared McLeod, they're great, and he's like, hey, I think you just need to go up one in the firmness department. So I'm getting a new mattress delivered, so I have
There
to
you
go
go.
home. I thought I was on today. I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday because
I wouldn't have noticed.
Well, we had 2 podcasts to do yesterday, but in the midst of all the Chris Beard stuff, we moved the Mincy one till today, and then I had Doring and Burns.
Could I talk you into
this
5
morning.
minutes with Logan?
Sure.
Okay, let's do 5
you want
minutes.
5 minutes with Logan?
You
I'll
can
do
walk out in the middle of the segment. That's fine.
Okay,
5
okay.
minutes with Logan, because I'd like to get, if there's anything we can discuss, let's do it. But not right now.
All right.
We got like 20 seconds.
Okay, we'll go to break, and I'll decide.
Okay.
It'll
But
be
I-
like a magic trick. Either I'm here or I'm not.
I think you should do it. The people are demanding
No, they're
it.
not. No, they're not.
I think there's 6
They
people.
want me to come on here with a list of like 4 names, and then if I don't, a bunch of little loser burner bees will complain. He didn't tell us. I thought we had a good update last night. We had a good conversation in the boards last night, and we'll be doing the same today.
TexAgs Live. We'll be back. Friday after next. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Roller Insurance Studio. Billy just said something ridiculous that O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube, my dear friend, was never good. Is that how you phrased it?
I said he was
No, he
not
wasn't
in the
as
same,
good.
He wasn't nearly ever as good as Eazy-E.
Do you ever listen to No Vaseline? Sorry, I should use another song.
I was about to say,
Straight out of Compton. That's all him. All him.
I liked Eazy-E a lot better.
Can you name one song from Eazy-E solo? No, you can't.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Boys,
Real Compton G's.
Yeah, that was with.
That was a jam.
Was with.
Are you arguing yourself right now?
After
No, I'm
Jordan's.
just. I mean, Ice Cube. Now is not
Logan,
fun
he
to
had
watch.
2 hoop earrings at the time. Give the man some space.
I did have 2 hoop
And
earrings.
you've got.
I need to see pictures of this.
Looks like
Oh,
you've
plenty of
maybe
pictures.
got a maybe one of these Longhorns got to you out on the streets,
I don't know what you're talking about.
or maybe one of these super mega masculine Aggie burners got you.
No,
you got a black eye.
Make America healthy again. That's
You look
that's
like-
the people who came after me.
It
'Cause
looks like you've got a shiner.
I've been covering it up.
Oh, what'd you do?
MMA
I know what he
class?
did. I know what he did, and it's why I say he shouldn't be doing it.
Brazos Valley MMA, shout out. Honestly, the guy who kicked me.
You got kicked in the face?
Oh, I got kicked through the face. Through the face. We were grappling, and he was very
You
apologetic.
know you should protect yourself, right?
Yeah, he kicked my butt. But the guy who did it, probably 20 years old, listens to TexAgs. Because before he killed me, he goes, "Hey, are you the guy on TexAgs?"
And then he was like, "I don't like it."
And then he looked for. He targeted me. He was like, "I want to go against you." When we start,
Easy target, easy
yeah,
prey. He saw
it was
Old man. Old man. I
9.2
got this, old
seconds
man.
in. Like it was like, bah! Close my eye. I can keep going. It was very difficult.
Did you keep going?
Yeah, I did. I left for a second, came right back
But you left.
for 34
you
seconds.
left?
Washed my.
Why'd you
I came back to the
leave?
same guy. I couldn't see. My eye was closed.
It was that bad?
Oh yeah. The whole class was like, Anyway, can we talk basketball?
Yeah, I think we should, because my recommendation is you're about to get the Joe Rogan to Brendan Schaub. Like, you need to retire, dude. It's time. I'm just saying, but go ahead. Basketball.
More than likely, I would face somebody like you.
Yeah.
And it would
Who's
be,
never
Yeah.
been on a mat.
Yeah, and it would be over.
Yeah, as soon as he knew it was happening, he wouldn't see the left coming. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Answer
Did
the
you see
phone.
that? Did you see that?
See the
did.
answer-
I saw that.
You
I
answer
saw
the
that out
phone.
the corner of my
He's
eye.
gonna crab walk me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna.
Basketball. I gotta go get my mattress.
All right. Well, you had a question.
Yeah, I did, Logan. Let's open it up. How'd you
boy.
feel? How'd you feel? Because there was a lot of people that were clamoring. A&M doesn't care about basketball. They're going to make a, milk toast hire. They're not going to go big. Trev's trying to save money. They take the swing of swings ever taken in this sport at A&M. It's 6 years, $7 million a year swing, along with NIL promises. And I guess you might, I wouldn't say swing and miss, a warning track, big, home run. Oh, what a letdown. And now people are back and maybe further in the tank, it feels like. I like the swing. What did you think of it?
I love it. I love the fact that they went out there and tried to make a statement. It shows that they are dedicated to the program, that they wanted to make something happen. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And I think it wasn't Beard playing the game to get a raise or get more NIL money, and that's probably part of it.
He knew he could.
He wanted
Both
to see
can be
what
true.
he wanted to see what was going to happen on the Ole Miss side. But I think he had genuine interest in A&M. I personally believe the biggest factor between the two programs is the fact that he has one going, and A&M Buzz has left nothing here. And I don't want to be disrespectful to the guys that Buzz has signed.
Yeah.
But they're
No
not proven.
experience.
They're
Nothing
not proven.
yeah.
And you've got to come now as a coach who would have been getting paid $7 million a year, who would have had a bag of NIL money that only has 2 weeks to work with it. You're expected to win immediately.
Yeah.
Those
parameters for $7 million and a ton of NIL.
Yeah, more than anyone in the sport.
People are going to say you have to win next year, and so you have 2 weeks to field an entire team that you want. That people are going to expect Sweet 16.
Did you read my? I think you feel like you read my post last night.
No,
I said the same thing. Both things. He's probably kicked off, but both things I said. I totally agree. Like at some level, both can be true. He knew he was going to get more from Ole Miss out of this, but also was really interested in A&M. A&M came to that number not by accident. That's what they were led to believe it was going to take to hire him. So, yes, I think he could have, would have, maybe could have left, but when, if Ole Miss wouldn't have come all the way up, he would have left for sure, number one. Number two, I think, both can be true. Where in the back of his mind, he goes, hey, if I end up not wanting to take this, I can stay and get more.
Absolutely.
Money, promises, all of it.
Absolutely.
Both are true. And then your second part, yeah, man, I didn't think about that till yesterday afternoon, and I wrote it last night. Like, no one is talking about the concept of that, and you brought up the pressure, and that even adds to it, but just the concept of, I had a team within a minute of the Elite Eight, and I'm going to leave. They've got nothing. It's not like it had been A&M a year ago, and you could watch tape and go, damn, okay, yeah, if I could keep him. Nothing. I just don't understand how anyone in their right mind with where he's at would do it unless Ole Miss didn't respond and he felt disrespected. But it was still worth the shot.
I mean, and he could have cherry-picked some of his players that he wanted. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have had the opportunity to get players. He would have. It's just, why would you do that when, like you said, a minute away from the Elite Eight, and you've built this program and you have the recruits that you've been recruiting, and then you go back and, man, I have nothing.
So my next question before I go. Would you take that, I wrote this last night too, would you take that level of money and financial commitment, and would you now reevaluate? Because I don't think they went into this search thinking they were going to offer that much money. Would you reevaluate and say, hey, let's take a minute here before we put this stash back away and figure out who else we could get? And let's say they, better yet, let's say they did. And they said, we're going to see who would you target at $6-7 million a year that you think would even be remotely attainable?
Man, I truly don't know the answer to that question. I was all in with Beard. I thought that was a
slam dunk.
Absolute slam dunk. Yep. But I think right now A&M has an option. If they are going to utilize that money, it has to be done quick. Yeah. It has to be done in 48 hours, and you got to get it done now, and it's over.
Yeah.
If you don't think that you can, I wouldn't just throw a line out there and say I hope to get him, because then you're just wasting time.
Yeah.
If you don't think that you can do that, whoever it is, go a mid-major up-and-comer. Take a chance on it. I know people don't want to hear that, but if you're going to go the route of somebody who is a little proven, it's not going to be a splash hire, but at least you're going to have some experience, and it's not as big of a gamble.
Yeah.
But you're also not going to pay $7 million a year.
For sure.
And you know better than this, does the NIL bag drop off? Do you have people that say, hey, if you get Beard, I'm donating
there
X,
were absolutely,
but it's only for Beard?
There was 100% multiple people doing that.
And
it was big money.
So they have to reevaluate really how quickly they can get the position filled, because you can't swing and miss again on a big-time guy.
Okay, Logan, good luck with him. Don't give him a second black eye.
I would never.
You can tell by the shirt, he will mess you up.
No, I've never offered to fight somebody. I've just said I would love for people to come by the studio and talk to us, just like you have.
You're more likes to fight guy.
I really don't like to. One fight in 1998, last time.
No.
Okay, yesterday.
Whenever that was.
Anyway.
Use some of this eye cream.
Yeah, no. Whose eye cream is that? See you, Billy.
Vibrant eye infusion.
Yeah, that's what he uses before he sits.
You're lying.
No, I'm serious. He's going to make fun of me, the guy with the black eye who puts, what's it called again?
The Brilliant. It's Vibrant Eye Infusion. Man, we have digressed so far.
Yeah, can we get back to basketball?
Absolutely.
So here's where I am with it. I do care that they missed on Beard.
Yeah.
What's the next plan? And they don't have to tell me today, but like, my point is I hope they have, let's be honest. How long have we been thinking, all of us, everybody listening, that Buzz could leave this year? It's been a minute.
6 years.
Okay, every year we're like, okay, he might leave. So if you don't have already been thinking in February and March, like
they have been and they
so
have
who have you been developing relationships with?
They have a list, and here's the reason why. I think everybody had kind of mentioned it and talked about it, but it was the elephant in the room of he's got 8 seniors, and he's going to have to replace everybody, and he hasn't done that yet. Oh, and I don't want to diminish Wade Taylor and his abilities, but no coach puts a jersey in the rafters.
Right. They want you to move the 2. Nick just did this hand signal. Now he's mad that I told you.
I'm 3. I'm 2.
Just go to
4
over there. There you go. Is that what you wanted?
On-air production.
Anyway,
but no coach does that. Puts a jersey in the rafters before the kid has left. Like
unless he's leaving.
Unless he's leaving and he wants to get it done because he truly believes in that. And
there were people who were asking. I'm sorry, Logan. There were people who were asking when that happened, why aren't you guys addressing he's probably leaving? I can't speculate what's in somebody's brain on air that I talk to once a week on the radio show, right? I understand the thought because in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is what he's always done. And I'm almost not mad at him because I think he's doing A&M a favor as long as A&M was prepared for this.
And I think they are. I think they were not prepared for the option of Chris Beard, but they quickly gathered up what was necessary to land him. Had Ole Miss not come back and obviously counterpunched and everything else.
But you better have a plan B.
And I know that they have guys. Is it guys to the extent of Beard? No. Are they a couple of proven guys and a couple of up-and-comers that you take a chance on? Yes.
Here's the thing. You get an up-and-comer, fine. $4.5 million a year, whatever the number is, okay? Hopefully, you can add $2 million towards NIL that you were maybe going to spend on Beard to have the best possible roster to get this guy started on the right foot. Because whoever comes in, if it's not a name that we know, like, how is he going to be able to recruit this late in the cycle? These are all things that I'm worried about.
Let's just talk about what we want in a coach, or what I would like in a coach. I would like a coach that has passion for the program, not just their own brand. Passion for Texas A&M, and by passion I mean you're going to be willing to go out and talk to the student body and get them to buy in before a game even plays. Not to, hey, winning solves everything. They'll come when we win. No, we want the student section full on day one because I've been out on campus and I've been talking to all these kids. I've been making them excited or meet them wherever they need to be met. You want a coach that is going to excite the donor base and actually go have dinner with somebody and shake hands.
And actually have dinner with somebody.
Actually say, hey, you used to be part of the program during the Billy Gillespie days. You kind of fell off during Turgeon. You got a little back during BK, but no one heard from you during Buzz. Now it's different. It's back to what it is. I want you a part of the program. Let's go to dinner, and then you know what? Ask him for some money. Because that is something that hasn't been done. That is what Buzz never did. I'm not going to go shake hands. I'm not going to go to church because I don't want to cause a scene. I'm not going to go to dinner because I don't want to have to talk to basketball about to people that I don't know. Like that. That's not what it is.
I mean,
you can do that at Kentucky.
Yeah, you don't say it. You just don't say it.
You don't say it.
You never say it. Like,
but that's the mindset. And however you want to put it, that's how it was. And we didn't talk about that stuff because he had won games. He 20+ win seasons, and he's getting to the tournament. And that's fine. But now that we have the opportunity to reset and get somebody in here. Those two things are awesome. Let's go get those. Let's get a coach that runs an offense.
How would you grade Buzz's tenure at A&M? B? It was good.
B, maybe.
B. Like, I feel like the program...
It depends. Are you counting the first year where he didn't let Nebo play forever and then Nebo became the best thing in the SEC and then they started winning?
Okay.
I like this
where this is going, yeah.
Then COVID and it just everything blew up. And so you don't really... Do you count those first 2 years? Because after COVID...
I mean, everybody else you count. So, yeah, you count them.
After COVID, you start over because, he has a process and it takes time to get his guys in. And so we understood, hey, this is just how it works with him. That's how it goes. But if you look at it as a whole, 6 years, 2 tournament wins.
Yep. I would say...
But he had them consistently ranked.
Consistently good, not great.
Winning games. It was frustrating, but...
Did he leave the program in a better place than it was?
No.
And I'm going to answer that 2 different ways. I'm going to give you 2 answers for me. Yes, perception. A&M basketball under Buzz was really good. Ask anybody in the country. Yeah, A&M basketball, they were relevant.
Yeah.
Here's the other part of that. Are they in a better place? Everybody's gone. They're gone. You didn't buy groceries or at least leave a little bit of groceries. They're all gone. They're all going with you. Do not disturb. Solomon Washington put his, do not disturb on his iPhone.
Man, it's
not Solomon, excuse me, Pharrell Payne.
Pharrell Payne.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And no, the program is not in a better place.
The perception is, hey, he did a really nice job. And he did do a really nice job. But again, when he told us, the media, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I forgot how he phrased it, but something like, tournament wins don't necessarily equate the success of my tenure. I forgot how he phrased it, but something to that effect. Actually, we keep score.
It does. It does.
And I think for a regular season team, they were really good. Not great. A couple years ago, they finished, a game behind Alabama?
It's hard to say that they were really good. They could have been really good had they not had an 8-game losing streak, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They could have been extremely good this year had they not had a 4-game losing streak at the end of the year. So that's why I hesitate in that it could have been so much better.
Yeah, could have been,
but it wasn't, and so you can't.
A little bit, he was stubborn, right? I mean, a little stubborn.
Absolutely. I mean, all coaches are.
Yeah,
they believe in their system, and if they didn't believe in their system, they wouldn't be where they were at. So,
but I use this example with Jimbo because Jimbo was stubborn too, right?
Absolutely.
And there was a point where I feel like Jimbo knew or was told, you got to get an offensive coordinator. And even though it was just like...
He got an offensive coordinator, but didn't do anything.
The offense was better. The offense was better, okay? Because they were historically bad the year prior. 22 points a game, right?
Yes.
They were better. But the point is, if every year your team is one of the worst at shooting free throws, and every year you're one of the worst at shooting threes, and every year you keep telling them to shoot threes, and every year your offensive philosophy is to go to the free throw line, you got to get a little better at one of those. And that was my only. That's the only real hiccup I had with him.
But why do you change? If I'm Buzz, why do I change when my offensive rebounding has been so good? When we are winning games,
I'll give you a reason.
We're ranked in the top 10.
I'll give you a reason. Okay, University of Houston, one of the greatest offensive rebounding teams there is. By the way, they shoot the 3-ball really well, like really, really well. Recruit some 3-point shooters.
He thought he was. It's just bad evaluations.
That's part of the process.
I agree.
That's why I have mixed emotions with Buzz, because I like what he stands for, what he says on the podium.
Absolutely.
I like the culture. My kids would thrive in his system, right? Like a coach that loves you and makes you read and prays over you. All those things I would love for my kids to play for. The thought of that, right? But I also think I would have liked to have seen some growth in other areas.
I think where the stubbornness hurt A&M as a whole is that he had the pieces, he just didn't utilize them. C.J. Welcher could knock down some threes. Hardly ever ran a single play for him to get an open 3.
And when he did, they worked.
And when he did, they worked.
Was it the game against Texas?
Pharrell
That
Payne,
play they drew up?
completely dominant in the post.
Yeah.
Doesn't utilize it because they're firing up shots. And that's where the stubbornness hurt. But again, Buzz is gone. We're not worried about Buzz. We're worried about where this program is going to be and who they're going to hire. And that coach needs to have passion for the student body, the donors, the program. Again, have some type of offensive set.
Yeah.
Open it up.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
It'll be a good hire, whatever it is. I truly believe that.
I hope that.
I truly believe that. It'll be a good hire.
And as I've been reminded, hope is not a strategy. I'm not the one pulling the strings, but I hope. I really hope. Thank you, Logan. Great stuff as
absolutely.
always. And I assume we'll have you back soon because when they make a hire, I got to bring you back.
There you go.
All right, thank you. Moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. When you're looking for a vehicle, make sure you go somewhere you can trust, somewhere that has a great reputation, that has great customer service, and they're known for their pricing. I basically just define Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You go there, you're going to see a great selection of SUVs, mid-sized trucks, big trucks, mid-sized vehicles, you name it, they have them all. And they're going to make sure that they take care of you from several different angles, right? They'll take care of you from a pricing standpoint, from a trade-in value, from the customer service during, middle, and after the process, right? You get complimentary pickup and delivery for your service customers and also complimentary oil changes as long as you own that vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Lucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Lucci sent you by.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50 coming up in a bit. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been around Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. We're way late for Tori Vidales on the Buppy's Catering Hotline. We told her 10:20, but Logan Lee just yapping away in the last segment. I'm kidding, Logan. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering Hotline. We're joined by Tori Vidales. Tori, how are you?
I'm good. Enjoying softball season.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about it because A&M basketball right now is looking for a coach that inspires and can take this program to new heights. And going back to when Tricia was hired, there were some expectations, but she has blown them out of the water so far, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's funny. I was, listening to Logan being on at the end there, you're wondering who you're going to hire. The same question was asked to me, like, who do you want? You want somebody that's going to inspire you. You want somebody that's going to fire you up. But most importantly, you want somebody that's going to help you win. And I think Texas A&M did a great job hiring Trish Ford. She's done incredible things only in year 3. And they're sitting at number 3 right now, too. So fingers crossed that the basketball program is going to hire someone good, going to get them on the right track, just like softball's done.
Yeah, they've done it. This week has been kind of nice. The last, 7-10 days against, inferior competition. We'll say Prairie View last night and obviously the weekend series. That being said, this team has taken on some real titans in softball, right? Even the non-conference, and now they've got even a harder stretch coming ahead. So how have they navigated through this tough stretch?
Yeah, I mean, being at home is always a great thing for any team, and especially when you've got a crowd like you can get at Davis Diamond, you always want to take advantage of that. But a really tough schedule, especially in the preseason, being able to go out to Clearwater, play some really tough games, going out to Mary Nutter, playing some really tough games, I think has really set them up to get to where they're at now and challenging them really early in the season. I think you're starting to see them put it together. They may not all be hot at the same time, but no matter what, I feel like this team has been able to find ways to win and win in different ways. They've played the pitching duels. They've played the big scoring games. They've won it with some small ball too. So I feel like they've put themselves in a really great position for this next half of a really tough SEC schedule.
So I mean this question with respect to the program, but is that something that could be worrisome? The fact that they have a dominant pitching staff, no doubt. But like some of the other ways that they win, like they don't wow you with home runs. They don't wow you in many different areas. Is that something to be concerned about? Or, hey, when a team finds a way to win, that's just in their DNA. Let's go.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's something to stress about at all. I think it actually gives you a little bit of an upper hand because a lot of teams will rely so heavy on one facet of the game, right? Their ace coming out and throwing a shutout or their offense hitting 5 home runs in a game. But there are going to be days where things don't work out the way you expect them to. And for a team to be able to look themselves in the face and be like, okay, this isn't working today. How are we going to find another way to win? And I think it gives you a little bit more confidence moving forward, knowing that, hey, if our power isn't here today, we can play a little small ball. We can cause some chaos on the base pass. So you're not having to rely so heavy on one half or one facet of the game that it kind of broadens your horizons and realizing that, oh, hey, we do have other tools in the toolbox that we can pull out whenever we need them.
Tori, one of the things that I feel like the offensive numbers are going to start going back up because I think Mac, it took a little while to get adjusted to the new place, and I think those numbers are going to keep going up, and the season Maya's having.
Oh, my goodness. Both of them have been doing phenomenal. I think Maya, you really see her star power start to shine. I mean, last year was really an off-the-bench player. That big home run in Super Regionals has really propelled not only the talent, but the confidence as well. And she started off so hot, and you kind of always expect a little bit of a plateau. And she has just kept swinging it. And I think, honestly, it's going to get even better now that Mac is picking up a little bit of momentum as well. I mean, you heard Ford talk about it a little bit yesterday. It's not really the talent, right? It's just the pitch selection. So once Mac is able to kind of lock that in, it is going to be so dangerous to have to choose between Maya Perez and Mac Barbara. It's like, which one do you pick? Which death do you want to take? Because both of them have the ability to do some pretty gnarly things in the box. And once everybody starts catching fire at the same time, I think that's when you're going to see the true capability of this team.
Tori, one of the things that has kind of come up a few times this season is Emily Kennedy. while still being a dominant pitcher, they haven't had to use her like they've used her in the past. Now they're using her a lot. I'm not saying they're not, but and I brought it up to Coach Ford yesterday. I feel like that for her in the postseason might be where we really see her dominance.
I agree with you 100%. I think she made a great point yesterday talking about the innings pitch going into conference play. It really gives you a different sense of, what she's going to look like towards the end. I personally think that Kennedy is one of those pitchers that the more she throws, the better she gets. And I think that's why we saw her SEC numbers go, or the outings go so, I don't want to say flawlessly because there's always a few flaws, but go very smooth through SEC last season because she was throwing. She was in that groove. She was feeling herself. And now she's taking a little bit longer to get to that point because she didn't see as many innings in the front half of season. So now I think that it's going to end up being, she gets really comfortable towards the end. And then postseason, when you really need her to kick things into gear, she's going to be there ready to go with a much fresher arm than last season because, you can only throw so much before your body just gives out on you. But I think she's in the perfect position now, having that staff behind her to have a really strong postseason.
Tori, I'm looking through these rankings and I'm like, wow, the SEC did A&M a favor. They get to take on Georgia. Oh, by the way, they're 16th in the country. And I'm like looking at all these teams ahead of them that A&M has played or will play. And I'm like, my goodness, you got Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, A&M, Tennessee. That's just in your top 6, right? And then way down there, still a number 16 team in the country, Georgia.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that there's no easy weekend in the SEC, especially this year. I mean, it feels like a different conference. And yes, Texas and OU being added just heightened that level of talent. But even the teams that you're used to seeing more so on the bottom half have found a way to kind of turn the program around, find a new way to win. And even like you mentioned, Georgia, you're playing a team that's ranked 16th, a little bit lower in the SEC, a young team, but still a very talented team. So it goes to show that there are no easy weekends in the SEC. It doesn't matter if you're playing Georgia, if you're playing OU, like both of those teams are going to give you a hard fought battle in the SEC for a 3-game series. It's going to be tough. So A&M has to definitely take advantage of the home series that they have.
Tori, let's get you back soon. And I promise I won't make you wait next time. All right.
Hey, no worries. I'm here for the people.
Yeah, you are. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Tori Vidales on the Buppy's Catering Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with the fan show. We'll talk about softball. We'll talk about basketball. We'll talk about football. I think I can fit that all in 25 minutes. Right now, if your car was hit by the recent hailstorm, please don't trust an out-of-town pop-up tent with your car. Trust somebody who's locally owned and an operated business right here in the Brazos Valley. We're talking about Classic Collision Restoration, who take care of you when it comes to paintless dent repair for hail damage and hail damage repair. Those out-of-town pop-up tents are going to be gone soon, so when something goes bad and eventually things go bad, who's going to stand by their work? They're not going to be here in town, right? You're going to call Houston, wherever they are, Canada. I don't know. I just said Canada just to say it. But these guys have been here for 25 years. Classic Collision and Restoration are going to make sure to bring your car back to showroom form. They will make sure that they stand by their quality of service and their detail. And you know how the saying goes, you get what you pay for, right? So don't just get your car fixed, get it restored with Classic Collision and Restoration. Aggie owned and operated, Doug Leopold, shout out to him, class of 1993. Call him up, 979-779-8399 or online at classiccollisionandrestoration.com. It is TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is time for the
Fan Show.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'm not super excited, but I'm not mad. I'm just like kind of here, you know? You guys are just going to look at me and just let it go.
I'm in a good mood.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, we just talked to Tori Vidales. That puts me in a good mood.
I love Tori.
Roy Baines in the house. Blake Chilton in the house. All right, let's start off with what's on your mind, Blake.
Obviously, the basketball coaching search. I'm hopeful, right? And I heard you say hope's not a strategy, but I am hopeful that we're going to land somebody good.
Yep. What's on your mind?
Man, it's ring weekend, right? So got me thinking about like Aggie traditions, Aggie ring, senior boots, coaching searches. These are all Aggie traditions. So
too often.
It's been a bit of a beating over the past year or so for this. But I'm kind of like you. I'm hesitant, but this is one that Trev needs to nail. The AD, he needs to get this right. But I have faith in it. Missed on Beard, but it's easier to retain than it is to go get. I understand that kind of concept, but like every week, because I get to keep saying it every week. Aggie Southpaw's on a roll, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this series at Georgia. The Saturday to Monday series are always weird to me, but yeah, looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah, let's
gonna be rainy outside, so I can stay inside and watch.
Let's talk about missing on Beard and what they do next, okay? Because I don't even know how to feel. Because I recognize a lot of the folks that are like, oh, we swung and missed, and what now, the doom and gloom. And I do think that Beard, the basketball coach, would have had this team in the tournament next year and been competing with Sweet 16s and Elite 8s. That didn't happen. I just hope that they have a plan for what's next. And I'm not talking about a Google search where you come up with a list of up-and-coming mid-majors like, oh, this guy's good and this guy's one. And
trying to find the next Nate Oates.
I hope some of that's been laid. So if it's not Beard, why do you have hope? Because you said hope, right? Like why?
I have hope because they shot for the fences, right? We didn't land Beard. That's okay. But I agree, he would have been amazing here. But the fact that we were willing to pony up that much money and that it made him kind of think about it and wrestle with it, shows that A&M is serious about taking the next step in our basketball program. So I'm hopeful in that.
Yeah, for me, it's just I don't want it to be, the coaching search list was Beard and then kind of everybody else, right? Like I don't want there to be a big gap in the next guy we go after. Mm-hmm. That's kind of my biggest thing.
But what is a big gap? Because I mean, like outside of getting an acting head coach to leave his program.
Well, that's the next step.
So you think it needs to be somebody
I don't think it needs to be. I think it needs to be the next target.
Okay.
Like I don't want to go from looking at Beard to looking at Kelvin Sampson's son. That's a gap. The inexperience and hoping you find the next Nate Oates. Like that's not what I want. McCaslin, you go after just look at programs. Not I mean even I think y'all mentioned it yesterday or the day before. I mean just look around the state of Texas at basketball programs.
Yeah.
That have had a lot more success than we have. So, and again, like we said, it's easier to retain a coach than it is to go poach one. But I think there's a name or two out there I think you go swing at. Mm-hmm. So, but, that may all be done behind the scenes and we won't hear much about it.
Sure.
But
I think I have to say this too. If I'm underwhelmed by the name, right? By the name, like, I don't know much about Huss at High Point. Oh, it looks like he's done, let's just say I'm underwhelmed, whoever it may be. We're not going to know for a while.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're not.
Yeah.
Like Jimbo felt like the guy, and then he felt like he wasn't the guy. But he was the biggest name you could go after. Elko, I have a lot of faith that he's going to get it done. He's got a couple years to prove it, but I have a lot of faith. We won't know until we have several months, Blake, or years potentially.
Yeah, I'm a little different. I'm okay with getting the up-and-comer. It's just the process in getting that guy. Mm-hmm. Like surely Trev's got a running list and has been thinking about these guys and had people research and what makes Huss at High Point really that successful, right? And will that translate to A&M? There are factors that I'm sure that they've done their research on. Like I don't think they were surprised by Buzz leaving.
We weren't, right?
Yeah, there were things. If Twitter or X is not surprised by it, surely Trev's not surprised by that. So hopefully they're finding that guy. And I'm not scared of an up and comer person.
I mean, I'm not scared of that. I'm just that's the old adage of if you're a good AD in your top drawer, you have a list of 5 names for every coaching position on campus ready at all times. And so, like you said, don't get caught off guard. We kind of did with baseball, right? Baseball really came out of the blue.
Yeah.
That was a 36 hour just kind of bomb. But this one we saw it coming. So it's just, who has he gone out there and vetted athletically, even from a distance, not, reaching out and contact him during the season per se, but, where's his mind? What's his list look like? And we don't have to be privy to that. I understand that, but, just hoping that he's got one and the names on there are quality.
Yeah. Okay. How do we assess Buzz Williams' tenure at A&M? How do we grade it? How do we look at it? What do we think? Roy starts off.
Give like a B minus.
Okay.
Good. So it's just kind of middle of the road. You could give him a C. Because actually, really, if you think about it, you could give him a C because C's get degrees, and that's just kind of what we did. Like he showed up and. We made some tournaments, which is great. It's great to make the postseason, but at a school as large as Texas A&M, and I don't care if we're a football school, that doesn't work for me. We're Texas A&M, right? But just making the tournament, that's 68 teams in the country, man. Like that's not exactly the most difficult thing in the planet, just to show up and make the tournament, more seasons than not. But not making the second weekends, with the team he had too. I mean, you're talking about the kind of experience he had. A tight core unit that played together forever. So, B minus or a C, somewhere in there.
What do you think?
I think he has risen the expectations, and you heard it with Roy, just like I don't know that we're a top 16 team program in the country, but that is the expectations here. And maybe that was from Billy Kennedy. Maybe you can go back to Billy Clyde and go, hey, he kind of started that of going, those are the expectations. But now it's not once every blue moon. Now it's, hey, every year we should make the Sweet 16. Every year. And if we don't make the tournament, like when we went to the NIT a couple years ago, I mean, our people were ticked off. Like we should have made it, right? And so I think he's stepped up our expectations just a little bit. And so
I compared him to grilled chicken and broccoli. Like, it's a quality meal. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? Sometimes I want ribeye, and I want my basketball team to be a ribeye every year. I want it to be
even just some hollandaise or béarnaise sauce. I ask so little.
That's so good.
Well, and you say, and honestly, I don't think the expectation is to make the Sweet 16 every year.
Every once in a while.
But yeah, every once in a while we need to be at the
every tenure you need to be every 4-year cycle. I hope you're knocking on the door of that Sweet 16.
I was going to say every 3 to 4 years you should be.
Yeah.
Maybe you get a bad matchup and you don't make it, but yeah, I don't think we're a perennial Sweet 16 kind of expectation school just yet. We could get there. But making the tournament is absolute bare minimum. Like I guess we can give you an attaboy, but like attaboy for doing your job for what you're getting paid. And that's always going to be another sticking point. You get paid top 10, you need top 10 results.
Yep, 100%. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back. Maybe a little Aggie football talk. Oh, Aggie baseball talk. Right now, your car wash tradition with the friendliest staff and a personal touch is Aggieland Express Car Wash. They are Aggieland's first green car wash. They recycle 100% of their water. 2 great locations, William D. Fitch and South College Station behind the Shipleys. The newest one on Texas Avenue South in College Station across from the Planet Fitness. They both offer all the wash options that you want. The Texas Avenue location offers a full-service wash. They've got 3 full levels of service there. You want to make sure you take advantage of that. And I'm going to give one away, a $40 value to the first caller, 979-693-1150. We're going to give you a full-service wash, $40 value to the newest location on Texas Avenue. Again, 979-693-1150, $40 value, first caller. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Fan show guys here with us, Blake and Roy. All right, guys, Aggie football, spring practice going on. Looking forward to seeing how this team develops. And again, it's one of these, can we finish, right? Like Aggie football, we didn't finish well. Aggie basketball, we didn't finish well. Aggie baseball, we finished well. Didn't finish the last game, but I'm not going to say it. This season's been poor. Aggie football, we're going to have to wait a while. Something I read this morning, Greg McElroy says that their quarterback, Notre Dame's quarterback, Steve Angeli, could be the next Joe Burrow. I think he's just talking, right? I don't think
Who said that?
McElroy, right? Could he? I think the question was, could he be the second coming? Regardless, what I want to say about that is, wouldn't that be an A&M type of thing? Like, all last season, Notre Dame's offensive line, they're a bunch of freshmen with this defensive line will get after it. Like, oh, this team's got no wide receivers. Peyton Thorne's a quarterback for Auburn. He threw for 12 yards against us the year prior. We got this. Of course, week 2, Angeli's going to be Joe Burrow. That's what it feels like when you hear stuff like that.
Well, I mean, for them to come out and say it, I mean, maybe think the opposite way. Like if they're like, dude, he's going to smoke A&M and we go to South Bend and just pound him into submission.
Yeah.
So, that can go both ways. And quite frankly, when Greg McElroy starts talking, I turn it off.
I think I like him as an analyst. Sometimes he just says things, but don't we all?
I think more often than not, he says dumb things.
Yeah.
But, I say dumb things, but I don't get paid to say dumb things. Like he gets paid and is plastered all across the country saying dumb things. He's getting paid for it. What a great gig.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're so far out right now and just thinking about football. And for me, absolutely everything is going to go through Marcel Reed, just all of it. And we've made some great additions, and I understand the wide receiver room, the tight end room, and a healthy running back room. And the statements that Mike Elko made, right at the end of the season talking about unacceptable defense. So I understand all that. I think there's reason for cautious optimism. It's that growth from this year to next year for Marcel Reed, him going in, knowing he's the guy, getting more reps and having, more reps with his receivers and his tight ends for timing purposes. I'd like to see him put on a little bit of weight.
Yep.
Not a ton. You don't want to lose his mobility and speed.
He is putting on the weight. He looks better.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, I think he's at 185.
185, yeah. Trying to get to 190, I think is what they said.
Well, it's like my fight and weight in 10th grade, 185. I'm so fat these days. But yeah, so for me, it's just everything's going to go through him. And then seeing a couple of the way too early kind of ranking kind of stuff. Tori York, number 2 returning linebacker in the country.
Yeah.
So there's, and your linebacker runs. He's a QB of the defense. So having that experience back there in production. So it'll be interesting how we replace in the front 7.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel, other than hope, going back to that word from earlier, the defense will be better? Because you did lose your defensive line. You have Coach Elko's hands on it now, more than before, right? And you've added some pieces to the secondary. Will the defense be better?
I think so, and I think we're also forgetting something. My buddy Cody Staton, birthday this week, shout out, mentioned he was like, this is year 2 of Moffitt as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got some guys that have been under his tutelage, being shaped by him, and that starts to pay dividends. And we've seen that with LSU in the past. But I think we've gotten faster. You got to remember, we had some key pieces go out pretty early last year at cornerback.
Yep.
We were having some injuries. I just think we're more athletic. I think we're going to be bigger, stronger, faster. I know we've lost some big headliners on that D-line, but I think there are some guys that are going to step up. We forget that Hicks was a 5-star coming out and has just played sparingly, right? He's had his moments, but that guy, it's going to be his time to shine.
Roy, you got about 30 seconds.
What, on defense? Yeah, again, a lot of it's just because we're going to get to see the guys that we thought we were going to see last year.
Mm-hmm.
Again, injuries. Injury bugs happen. Both sides of the ball. We saw offense basically go into a hole once Le'Veon Moss went down. And having those lockdowns on the outside, it's so big. And so having that speed, agility, so where the front 7 can really get after it doing their job. So yeah, they'll be better.
Got to drop it there. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live on a Thursday. Baseball Bunch, Lucci, OB, and more mañana. See ya.